Hi everybody, I wanted to make a quick video on original Floyd Rose Tremolos. There's not a whole lot out there about these. I'm an advocate for these, and I want to explain why these are desirable and why even a lot of people poo-poo on them. But those that know, we know. And I have two examples here. This one's an original patent sticker, what you call a patent sticker. The patent is worn off. I have a picture of the other one. The other one is actually mounted in a guitar right now. I didn't bring that guitar out here with me. But here's another example. It used to have Floyd Rose patents on it. The original Floyd Roses were obviously made by Floyd in his garage, and then they started to get licensed through different people and made in Japan and so forth, in Germany. But the original design had a threaded arm, as you see here. It also had, bushings to, basically have two jam nuts to tighten up against it. The other design differences here are the original saddles. And if you see the original saddles, they have, a radius hump here where the string would ride across. They also have a method of retention for the string vise. And another thing they have are these jam nuts in the back. Now, these are subtle differences, and Floyd has made non-fine tuner Floyds, for a long time now, and even after these, but they are not what this is. There's a reason why guys like Brad Gillis and Neil Sean and others who have used them, myself included, who are advocates for these, because there's advantages to these over the remakes or so-called remakes that they build now. The ones that they've been making, they essentially have this base plate, but they eliminated the jam nuts, and then all they did was they took the pivoting saddles off of the ones with the fine tuners and stuck them on there. And those, I have a copy of one here. Well, it's actually a Floyd Rose, but it's a special. You see the saddle differences here. They have a groove that's already, into them. It locks the string in place. That all sounds good. But the advantage to these, and there's quite a few advantages. No, you don't have the fine tune capability, but you can adjust the string spacing, much like you would on a Fender Strat. So once I clamp that string in there, if I want to move the string, say, a little bit closer to the pole or away from the pole or towards the edge of the board, I can do that and then just reclamp it or clamp it initially. There's a big advantage to that. The newer ones that they made since the 80s all have these grooves in them. And it locks the string in a set spacing, which, again, if you have that spacing, that's great, but there's no flexibility in it. Plus, there's no longer a radius here. There's kind of sort of a radius, but it drops all the way down into that block. And yes, it works. Yes, they're great tremolos, but that's kind of a shortcoming in these. Now you notice this one here, I modified it as well. One of the things with the Floyds, and has always been, is these fine tuners. These thumb screws, even though the whale's tail has them far away from the bridge, people would still hit them with their palm of their hand or the back of their hand. The original Floyds that had the fine tuners, the FR2 they just had a block, coming off the backside here straight up with the fine tuners. There was a couple people that had those. KK Downing and Judas Priest had one of the original ones. Dave Lubeck from Molly Hatchet had one on one of his Hamer standards. So there was a couple floating, but they pretty much quickly transitioned to the whale's tail design, which is better. But getting back to the fine tuners, in the mid 80s, Jackson Guitars was making obviously custom guitars, and for a short period there you could get a Floyd on a Jackson just through the factory. When Kramer took over Floyd and they had the licensing, they stopped selling directly to Jackson because they were a competitor. So I have letters from Jackson from, I think it was 85 or 86, stating that I couldn't order a guitar with a Floyd, because I had asked them about that. So what they had to do was they actually had to buy the Floyd, send it to Jackson, they would build the guitar and send it back to you. They couldn't buy them directly because of those agreements. So in the mid 80s, they designed their own. It was the JT6, and just to be blunt, they're garbage. They're die cast. They have hardened steel bars in here that were overmolded in the casting. And those pivot points, you know, the saddles, everything's die cast. It was just a bad example. The arm had a bushing in it. It was a plug-in arm, much like a 1/4-inch socket on an amplifier, and it just never worked right. But one value that Tremolos had was it had these barrel screws on these screws with a plastic cam that would ride on the whale's tail, and that had a lot of value, I thought, and still does. So those are the only things, in my opinion, that are salvageable off those tremolos. So you see, this is a Floyd Rose bridge. All I did was pull the fine tuners. I reinserted the Jackson JT6 ones with the screws, and they work fine. They work as they need to. I also, as you see, I replaced this was a bushing type arm. I replaced that. I do make a bushing because the original arms here and these patent stickers arms are roughly they are 6 millimeter, and some are the 5/16, I believe, US, just depends on where they were made and when they were made. Holes. So the original plates on these patent stickers have a 6 millimeter hole in the plate to suit the arm. If you try to insert this arm into these newer plates, the holes in these are 9 millimeters because they have that bushing in there. So I made a bushing, and I make bushings to convert these. This is just the newer arm. Obviously, the thread's not, probably as long as it could be, but it's more than enough to get a nylock nut on there and a jam nut on top with with a bronze bushing and a nylon bushing on top. There's a lot of value to these because if you're a guitar tech and let me grab a wrench here, and you're guitarist, or even if you are a guitarist, if the one's made in the 80s and later with either the thumb screw and the bushing or the threaded bushing that came after, there's only 2 flats on those threaded bushings. They're horrible. Same with the thumb wheel screw and the bushing. If this comes loose and starts to turn, your tech or you can just get an open and wrench and go like that, and it pulls it right in. It pulls it right in, retensions the arm, and it stays in place. Great design. Should have stayed with that. I did send this to Floyd Rose because I told him, I said the patents for this are probably long expired if Jackson even had a patent on it. And it's time to make that upgrade if you want one with fine tuners. But getting back to these, the other value with these, aside from the original saddles being fantastic, is the intonation. So with the new ones, you have to loosen this screw, adjust the intonation, of course, retighten the screw, tune the string back up, and so forth. You can't do it with the string at full tension. These ones, you tune it, okay, and you start to set your intonation, and then you make the adjustments. And what you do is with the string on, you smooth the string back a little bit, loosen this up, and then use a socket on the back here. I'll pull one. I think it's 11 millimeter. Let me look here real quick. Some of these are SAE Imperials, some of them are metric. You just basically do that. So you have the string, okay, it's tuned. You're like, okay, I need to adjust the intonation. You make the adjustment to adjust that, you retune the guitar, and then you check it again. And once you get it locked up, then you lock that screw. But you can do that all with this on the guitar and all with strings on it relatively quickly. This takes a little longer to do because you don't have the jam nut to help you. Now, I know they sell apparatus that can help you do that, but again, that's really where all this comes from. So I started collecting these long ago. I saw the value of these back in the 80s, and again, from a couple of the original musicians that used them, that had the original ones made by Floyd in his garage. I was probably the only one that really liked these. I think Vinnie Vincent had one on his original Jackson Randy Rhodes. A couple other people had them, and I'm drawing a blank here. But they immediately after that went to the ones with the fine tuners. But these are actually really, really good. I really like these. I wish Floyd would remake them. There is a gentleman out there, I believe it is a person, one of Brad Gillis's guitar techs, who actually makes these saddles out of stainless steel. And I forget his name, and God love him, I'd love to hit him up again because I'd like to actually buy some of his saddles here rather than try to have either I make them or I have my local machine shop make them. But I was fixing to really do the same with this. I was going to prototype a saddle that would still pivot, but dump this groove and make it more of a radius. In fact, make it a radius. so that the radii would take over for this fixed string spacing. Another thing with these, real quick, is if you're in the like the drop tunings and you want to use a heavier string, you know, especially up in here with low E, there's only so much room in there. So if you get a really heavy low E string, it's not going to sit in that groove. It's just going to sit somewhere in between it on a tangent. Again, it's not really ideal. They're not perfect units, but really there's a lot they can do to make these a lot better, I think. I know, you know, they're hesitant to change. People are hesitant to change, but really there's only a few things they need to do, and it would really be a great tremolo. I think going to these are brass. These are original Jackson brass thumb wheels, barrel type, that work really well. So that's it. I just wanted to show, oh, here's a Japanese version one. This is basically, it would be a patent sticker, but it's actually an ESP branded one made by the same people who made the Floyd Rose, which I believe was ESP. I'll have to look that up. But you see that they made this one all black. This one does have, obviously, a jam nut arm. This one has black jam nuts on the back to adjust your intonation. But as you see, the saddles are exactly the same. And they have T-slots, much like the other ones, T-slots to hold those in place rather than those fall out. The newer ones, you know, since the 80s, again, they eliminated the T-slot, and those are just slugs. And if you loosen this too much and they fall out, you know, you lose them. So little things, but in the guitar world, especially if you're a player, little things mean a lot. And that's really all I wanted to point out here. I think, like, again, I haven't really seen too many people talk about this. Very limited interest in the original Floyds, except for a few people. I love them. I think they're great. Anytime I get a guitar with a newer Floyd on it, if I have one of these available, I get rid of that. I put one of these on, if it's one of mine. It's just the way I do it. Oh, here, yeah, I want to show you this. So here's an old Charvel that I got in pieces, and I didn't do this, but somebody was trying to basically make a BC Rich out of it. All kind of preamps and all kind of stuff on it. It just got a single EMG 81, original EMG. But you see, that's my chrome unit on this one. And instead of using the Floyd nut, I used the Kaler nut. I just had that gold one in a box somewhere. And the Kaler nuts actually have a lot of value too, because the Floyd nuts, they actually clamp down on the string. And the mistake people make with those is they get too heavy-handed. They just come in with a wrench and they go like this. And there's a chance you can break the screw. You strip the screw, you strip the hex inside the screw, but then you're cranking on the string and you're mechanically damaging the string. And if you have an original Floyd Rose and you do that, it's always going to go out of tune. So you only need to tighten the Floyd nut to where it captures the spring. That's it. You don't have to put that much torque on it. These Kaler nuts, the way the clamping mechanism works is it actually pulls up. So as these strings drop over this radius here, it's pulling up against it. And it works very similarly. But this guitar, even though it's a bolt-on neck, it stays in tune. Once it's in tune, it's in tune. Another trick you can use, and this I think comes from Van Halen, when he originally started using these ones without the fine tuners, he used to boil his strings. And that would take a lot of the stress out of the original string. If he got a new pack of strings, he would take a lot of that built-in stress out of the energy out of the string by boiling them. And that would help, you know, with the tuning process. Me, I put it on here, I tune it, I stretch it, tune it, play it, stretch it, tune it. And then at some point I finally get it to lock up. Once it's locked up and it's in tune, it stays in tune. It doesn't matter what I do with the bridge. You see, it's not a recessed Floyd. I can go up and down quite a bit. I can slacken the strings and I can pull them back. And this doesn't fret out. This is actually a really well-made guitar. This has a very low action and it doesn't fret. Doesn't fret out when pulling it back or doing any kind of bends. There's no buzzing in here either. Very well made instrument. I have a Jackson with the other patent sticker, black patent sticker one on. I had a gold one and I regret letting it go. A guy talked me out of it and I let it go and I sold it, but now I'm kind of regretting it because the gold ones, the gold patent sticker ones of these are actually really rare. But I got the black and the one chrome. But I hope you enjoyed this video. Hope it wasn't too wordy. Just trying to explain the differences and why, you know, an esoteric group of people like these original ones versus the new ones. Okay, well, have a good day. I appreciate you watching. Thank you.